Welcome to Reverent and Rebellious, a safe space for faith-based conversations on the things that nobody seems to want to talk about these days. We are reverent, we value truth, we elevate scripture, but we are also rebellious. We shatter myths and we destroy dogma, so jump in. Join us, Logan, Pat, and me, the brother Peter, as we get reverent and we get rebellious.
What's going on, everybody?
Did you get that wasp?
I got that one. I've killed two in here now. Well, Pat finished off that last one. Yeah, we got a wasp outbreak in here.
Yeah, so here's I wore this shirt especially for you.
You okay?
You okay?
I love that. That just tickled me.
Yeah. So Sean and Anna, if you're watching, thank you for this shirt. I love it.
Hey, and I said it tickled me. It's got Tickle Me Elmo on there. Look at that, man. Well, I'm going to start off. I got a bone to pick right out the gate.
Okay, do it.
I was going to make sure here. I'm just going to make sure that nothing insane has happened today.
Okay.
All right. So here it is. We're recording on March 25th.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And we're sitting at 31 reviews on Apple.
Mm-hmm.
What did we say?
We said 50 by Easter Sunday.
We got 3 weeks.
We got 3 weeks, but we haven't had a move on that since like basically the day we announced.
Yeah.
We had it. So look, I know there are some people that really, because several people are like, man, I want to see Peter in jorts. And look, I'm one of them. I want to see him have to preach.
See me in jorts.
I want to see this man preaching in jorts. And and see Spotify, we're still sitting at 30. So I told Pat when they got in here, I said, Pat, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So I am now on the team with Pat here saying that I don't think that y'all can make it happen.
Yep.
What do you think, Peter? You think it's going to happen?
I just don't know. We have a wonderful audience, and they are, I don't know. So a couple of you have said, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, first of all, if you have an iPhone, it's like super easy because the little purple podcast app just comes right on your phone. It does. It's already there. So all you have to do is hit that little app and then just type in the name of the podcast.
Yep.
And then it'll come up and then there'll be a button there and you just push that button.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's what do you scroll down to the bottom on the page?
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah, and you don't even have to type anything. You literally just like tap the stars and it'll say rating submitted.
That's it.
Like it's some of the most low-hanging fruit in all of time.
It's very easy. Now, if you have an Android, it's a little bit. There's a couple of extra steps.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that's why but Spotify. Now, I will say this: Spotify, you have to listen to some of it before you can rate it.
Yeah, that is true.
Which I actually like.
I do too.
Because it keeps a hater from just going on there and like they gotta like listen. They gotta really hate you because they have to listen to some of your show.
Right. Well, also too on Spotify, we're not getting any sympathy likes.
That's right.
You have to listen to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's right.
You're really in there. And I agree, man. We got a great audience. And the bad thing is most of them have already rated it.
Well,
so they're like, man, hey, if I could double rate it, they would.
You will earn your status as a raving fan if you now go to all your friends.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you, Alan.
Maybe we have an audience that doesn't have friends.
Maybe. Maybe so.
Yeah. Alan Shank, you are a rock star. Thank you.
That's right. Alan is killing it. We haven't had a comment from Alan in a while. I'm missing Alan.
I know.
He's been really busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of our faithful commenters
they've been a little quiet lately.
They have been. And
my aunt, I have to get on to her. Hadn't heard from her in a while. I'll see her at Easter.
We got one from Julie this week. She said, no, we need Jerusalem Cruisers, a.k.a. sandals.
Jerusalem Cruisers.
That's what she said.
That's a great name for sandals.
Yeah.
It's a great name for a band,
The Jerusalem Cruisers. That is.
Sounds like a cruise ship band.
It does.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I there you go. I'll play cowbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
We always need more cowbell.
You do.
That's
yes,
true.
We do.
You got a fever.
Yeah. So the farm is going okay. You got cranked back up again?
Got cranked up. I've been spraying and paratilling, and I need to be in like 5 places at one time, and so it's the season.
Yeah, I know
Fair
that
enough.
feeling.
If y'all want to, if y'all find a little downtime in y'all schedule, you want to come hop on a tractor, I got plenty of work for you.
You wake up too early for me.
Hey, I got lights. You can run at night.
Awesome. I don't know if I like that.
Hey, now some people may not know this. Peter did plant.
I did.
You planted beans. What was it? Probably
it was
3 years.
corn.
Was that the?
Yeah.
That was the corn maze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I planted a corn
Did
maze
you know
all by
that,
myself.
Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
I have the
did.
pictures to prove it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, if I wreck your planner, I'm just gonna leave. And
Yeah.
you'll find it there in the
Yeah,
morning.
just start walking.
That's it. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
just.
That'd be a good gift in the morning.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, man,
Exactly.
Pat must have got that field knocked out last night.
No.
Something got knocked
Something
out.
did. Yeah. Now y'all been on the road today.
We have been. We've been
Yeah.
all the way to Dixon.
Yep,
Dixon.
just about Nashville.
Nice.
Yeah, and we gave a little presentation on things that are happening at the church and
Yeah.
everything. We they wanted to hear about our young adult ministry and
Yeah.
all that stuff. It was fun.
It was really good reception. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see some friends I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And I got a free book and a free hat out of the deal.
Oh, what kind of hat you get?
I got Iglesia del Cumberland Presbyteriano or
Yeah.
something like that.
What does that mean?
It's Spanish for Cumberland Presbyterian Church.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
A fella who had been on ministry trips in Mexico.
Okay.
He was on his way back to Knoxville from Mexico.
So was there some Hispanic Presbyterians there?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Yeah, and he drives to Mexico
Man, that sounds like a terribly long drive.
22 hours.
Yep.
And then he has this he trains pastors and plants churches.
Wow.
And then he drives back.
And he was
Dang.
happy. He was happy beyond belief.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He was just
like,
smiling, just considering it all joy, brother. He was just right there. He was in it.
Yeah.
Now, isn't that just typical?
I'll tell
You got a
what.
dude that's like, he's out doing it. He's even driving like this. And then here we are. And we drive 10 minutes around town mad. And then,
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like, you got a dude over here. He's driving to Mexico.
Mexico. I know.
Man.
He's one of my heroes. He's
Yeah, that's awesome.
Been a friend for a long time, and he's very. Yeah, I mean, he's just like, let's go, let's do this.
Well, that is awesome.
I know it is awesome. So that's what we've been up to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I got it. Had enough time to get home, get my belly full, and get lazy, and then come speak to you,
Yes.
amazing people.
Absolutely.
We're all fueled up. I had my black coffee.
I'll say, yeah, I'm caffeineing right now, trying to bounce back.
Yeah. Y'all satanic drinks.
All right. So I got something a little different today.
All right. Let's
I
hear
think
it.
you'll like this. This is 20 things I learned by watching movies.
Okay. All right. This is right up my alley.
Yeah, you'll love this. Okay, so the first thing I learned, if staying in a haunted house, women should investigate any strange noises wearing their most revealing underwear.
This is true.
True.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
very
True.
true.
Okay, if being chased through town, you can usually take cover in a passing St. Patrick's Day parade at any time of the year.
That's also
That
true.
is conveniently, yes.
Yes, exactly. It's easy for anyone to land a plane, providing there is someone in the control tower to talk you down. I'll bet you didn't know that.
I've never thought about that, but that's
That's
accurate.
accurate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's another thing I learned. Once applied, lipstick will never rub off, even while scuba diving.
Pat already knew that.
I
know.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
And here's one of my favorites. The ventilation system of any building is a perfect hiding place. No one will ever think of looking for you in there, and you can travel to any other part of the building without difficulty.
That's right.
How do they navigate it so well?
I don't know.
Yeah.
John McClane, he would
He's
verify
a
that.
king of it.
Yeah.
Should you wish to pass yourself off as a German officer, it will not be necessary to speak the language. A German accent will do.
I'm immediately taking them glorious bastards.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he does the wrong symbol.
Yeah.
A man will show no pain while taking the most ferocious beating, but will wince when a woman tries to clean his wounds.
That's
indie.
true.
That's indie.
That is true.
Yeah.
These are good.
Okay, here's another one I learned. When paying for a taxi, never look at your wallet as you take out a note. Just grab one at random and hand it over. It will always be the exact fare.
Man,
That's accurate.
that is accurate.
How did they know? During all police investigations, it will be necessary to visit a strip club at least once.
Fair enough.
Yes, that kind of goes hand in hand with the first one.
It does.
Revealing underwear.
Yeah.
There's a common theme here.
And here's another
The
very true
strippers
one.
always know the truth.
They do.
And see, I think I already knew this one. Cars and trucks that crash will almost always burst into flames.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they could be drained of fuel beforehand, they would still explode.
Exactly. They will always explode. And you will jump
Yes.
like that.
And show no pain.
And show no pain. That's right. A single match will be sufficient to light up a room the size of a football stadium.
Truth.
Here's a good one. Medieval peasants had perfect teeth.
You know what? That is one I have thought about that. And I've also thought about there's no way the women were as good looking back then as they're portrayed in it.
Yeah, and they all had silky smooth shaved legs.
Have y'all, I know y'all seen Tombstone.
Yeah.
So Doc Holliday's woman in there, she's good looking. Her real name was Big Nose Kate.
Yeah, Ugly Kate. Yeah.
Big Nose Kate. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't think she looked like she did in that movie.
Probably not. Here's a good one. Number 13. All single women have a cat.
Yes. Now that might be accurate.
I think it might be. Here's a really good one. One man shooting at 20 men has a better chance of killing them all than 20 men firing at one.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is so true.
How do they do that?
Stormtroopers.
Another good one. It does not matter if you are heavily outnumbered in a fight involving martial arts. Your enemies will wait patiently to attack you one by one by dancing around in a threatening manner until you have knocked out their predecessor.
That's right.
Yep. That kind of is a pet peeve of mine.
I know it is mine too. It's like they're just standing there and all of a sudden it's like they jump in.
It's like, get him.
Yeah, I know. When you turn out the light to go to bed, everything in your room will still be clearly visible, just slightly bluish.
Yeah. It's moonlight, man.
Yeah.
This one actually I think is true. Dogs always know who's bad and will naturally bark at them.
Now, isn't there something to that?
I think there is.
Yeah, both of Peter's dogs barked at me this morning.
There you go. Yeah. There is some truth to that.
There you go. Rather than wasting bullets, megalomaniacs prefer to kill their arch enemies using complicated machinery involving fuses, pulley systems, deadly gases, lasers, and man-eating sharks that will allow their captives at least 20 minutes to escape.
True.
Yeah, thinking of James Bond.
That's exactly
the
where
lasers moving it like so slow.
I know.
The ones on Mario move faster.
Yeah,
I agree. Okay, two more. A detective can only solve a case once he's been suspended from duty.
Of course.
Yep.
That's the truth.
He's too close.
And here's the last one. If you decide to start dancing in the street, everyone you bump into will know all the steps.
That's right.
Well, okay, you gonna get me bashing my wife's taste of movies. She loves musicals, and I'm like, those are the stupidest movies. I'm like, nobody does that. If someone asks me a question, or if I ask somebody a question, and they burst out into singing, I'm gonna turn around and walk away.
No,
man, my pet peeve is in any war movie. Every one of these highly trained personnel are horrible shots.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have an automatic weapon and you couldn't even nick him? Like, come on. Like, you would not pass your qualification.
But if they kill everybody in the first shot, then the movie did too quick.
That's true.
Well, most of them would be commercials.
and then you're like in a Nazi war movie, and everybody's hiding, and they all of a sudden burst out into song and start dancing around.
Yes. Yeah. The only musical I enjoy with musical aspect is Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Is what Rent?
I was gonna say Rent.
Oh no, that's my sister-in-law's. She loves it. Ugh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No thanks.
I'm good.
Wicked is what was played at my house here recently.
Man, yeah.
Don't tell me you're a fan.
No, I just had to watch it with my daughter, and it was never again.
I didn't watch it. My wife, me and my son went and did. He went with me because he was like, I don't want to stay here while they're watching that.
Well, while I was at the university, director of the program, and we had a theater program, and so they did 2 major musicals a year.
Oh.
So how do I skip that? I can't skip that. And so I watched a lot of musicals during my time there.
And you're not a fan?
No, I'm not.
Show tunes does not do it for me.
Now you saw a musical on Broadway, right?
Yeah, but it was cool.
I know.
Rock of Ages.
Oh, that is cool.
So it was 80s, hair metal. I can do those.
I've
And
seen
Grease.
two.
Grease is not bad.
Yeah, I agree. You were in Grease, weren't
I
you?
was.
Yeah.
I had to sing.
Wow.
How'd that go?
Oh man, I would hate. I hit falsetto. I can't do it anymore. I actually tried. I can't do it anymore. Like my voice it just won't get there.
Well, you're an
Logan,
adult now.
Yes.
Logan put the false in falsetto.
Yes. Dude, I was terrified because I'm not a singer.
Well,
I am
you
not a
were
singer.
then. Yeah. I've seen Phantom of the Opera, which the production was extremely good.
I've heard it was good.
Yeah.
From a theatrical standpoint.
The whole story just loses me somewhere in there. I'm not sure. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And then I and my wife and my 2 daughters saw The Fantastics.
Fantastics.
It's one of the longest running musicals on Broadway, and it's done in a tiny little theater.
Okay.
And it was really cool because actors are like
right there.
Yeah, they're right there, singing at the top of their lungs.
I wonder if it was the same because that's how Rock of Ages. We were in a little bitty thing.
Okay.
Because it was cool because it had a live band, and all the music was done right there. And
they had one too.
The lead guitarist was the lead guitarist for Whitesnake.
Oh man!
Because when they were introducing them, this dude with super long white hair is on the guitar, and they're like, so and so, and he steps up on the speaker, and they have this fan blowing up, and he starts shredding the guitar, and his hair is blowing up, and it's like, and the lead guitarist from Whitesnake, and I was like, freaking Whitesnake.
There you go. See.
Yeah, no, those are cool, but Chitty Chitty Bang Bang makes me want to jump off a bridge. If either of you have ever seen that movie.
I have seen it, yes.
Gosh.
I grew up with my mom and 3 sisters.
You were very outnumbered.
Yeah, we would watch Sound of Music every Christmas season.
Oh,
I hate that movie.
Yeah. The hills are alive. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My favorite things. I could just reel them off.
Oh,
here.
that's what these are a few of my favorite things. Is that what you're talking about?
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
Yeah, I think the only musical I enjoyed was Rock of Ages.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome musical.
Well, Tom Cruise is hilarious.
He is.
And so I just want you to know that what we're doing right now is we're irritating Shannon. Because Shannon hates the banter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
She wants to get right to the content.
Oh, man.
So I thought we would just draw it out a little bit longer.
Extra.
Gotcha.
So keep hitting that 15-second button.
You won't know when it's going to end. You never know when it's going to end.
That's right. It may never end.
That's it.
Okay, we haven't even talked sports yet.
Yeah, let's just do an episode of nothing but banter.
Yeah,
This
this was just banter.
Okay, I have one little other anecdote to share. Do you remember the comedian Andy Kaufman?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, from
the moon.
Taxi.
Is that the dude from
Man on the
Taxi?
Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the movie Taxi?
No, the
show.
TV show.
Oh, I never saw the TV show.
Oh, yeah. He was kind of an odd guy.
But he was the weird dude. Yeah, Man on the Moon was a movie
Jerry
about him.
Lawler slapped him.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's the one. He did a comedy bit one time where he just came out on the stage and he just said, 100 bottles of beer on the wall, 100 bottles of beer. And take one down, pass her 100, and he paused. 99 bottles. He went literally just down.
Oh, gosh. I bet the people were going insane.
By the time he got to 60, they were throwing things. And they were just, and that's exactly what he was trying to do.
Just to aggravate them?
Just to see how far they would go.
So Shannon's throwing stuff
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now?
That's exactly
Gotcha.
right. And you get down to like 19.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know if that one's recorded anywhere.
Some people had to have got up and left.
Oh, absolutely they did.
So did he start a bit after, or was that it?
I don't even know. I don't know what happened after, because that would take 20 minutes.
That would take a long time.
No.
Oh, man.
And some people found it absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
who was the dude? Was it Gallagher that would just smash the watermelons?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They would hand out plastic for the front row. Yeah. Yeah. That was a weird dude too.
That was a weird dude.
Yeah. I don't know what.
Well, but I'm going to tell you, I think who takes the cake?
Who?
Carrot Top. That's a weirdo.
Yeah.
There were times I've seen parts of his bits that were absolutely hilarious though.
Oh, yeah. Well, now he's on roids and he's very bizarre looking. Have you not seen him since
No.
Yeah.
oh, dude, he's juiced to the gills now.
Swole.
He looks
Wow.
terrifying, and
Why?
he's had a ton of like facial surgery
yeah.
and he looks really scary.
It probably looks like this beast in Revelation 17.
Yeah. Well, there's his face now.
Golly.
Isn't that frightening?
That is wrong. That's just wrong.
But he's I can't find one of him when he's I mean, you can kind of see like he's pretty muscled up there.
Yeah.
But
That's weird.
yeah, he's on all kinds of roids.
Golly.
Probably other. Oh, there you go. See, he's kind of muscled up there.
Yeah.
And he's probably doing a little toot and who knows what else.
All the things.
All the things.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't, but we do. Now that we're 20 minutes in, we need you to leave us a comment and hit that rating. Again, I don't think you're going to get us to 50, but just go ahead and hit that rating.
Do it anyway.
Shannon definitely hit a rating for us and let us know how much you enjoyed the banner.
Yes. A little extra banter.
Yeah.
Today.
Just for you, Shannon.
We just had a lot to talk about.
We
That's
did.
all, I haven't seen y'all since last week. I mean, it's not like Pat and I had 5 hours in the truck.
Yeah.
All right. So we are ready for Revelation 17.
Yes.
So much so that I brought the big computer tonight.
I see. You bust out the big guns.
I had to roll it out. This is a very unique and somewhat controversial chapter.
Mm-hmm.
There's been all sorts of bizarre interpretations of this, and it is a very bizarre scene. But I want to kind of set it up by kind of going back and remembering that in chapter 15, John saw another sign in heaven. It was great and marvelous. 7 angels with 7 plagues, which are the last. Right?
Yep.
Okay. In them, the wrath of God is finished. And then it says the temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power. No one is able to enter the temple until the 7 plagues are finished. So you get this idea that what we've been through is the last. Chapter 16, the 7th angel pours out his bowl and a loud voice from the throne says, it is done.
finished.
Tetelestai.
Yes, it is done.
I wonder did they use that exact phrase?
Boy, I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Let me
That's
see.
what I like to hear.
Let me see. Let's go back to.
I just wondered, if they used the same phrase that he used on the cross.
Let's see.
I can tell you, maybe.
Is this your fancy Bible app?
Yes, it is.
The thing is, you got so much going on. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It's Genomai.
So what does that mean?
I will. Maybe I will tell you. Maybe. Yeah, it is done. It is done.
To come into existence.
Yeah, it has come into existence. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not Tetelestai, or however you say it.
It really it means it is complete.
Yeah.
It is fully realized.
So not
Here we
finished. Yeah, it is complete. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, it does actually make sense. So now what happens here? Once again, reminding us not to read this chronologically, because it's not that the 7 bowls are poured out and then we get this picture of, it's what's happening here. Okay, so this is a vision, because it says right in verse 1, it says, then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and spoke with me, saying, come here, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters. Okay, so what's happening here is, before we get to, this is all a staging for the great conflict, the Armageddon, right? We talked a lot about Armageddon last week. So this is a kind of a, what this is doing here in this chapter, we will see this clearly, is it's like, okay, so we had the seals, we had the trumpets, we had the bowls. All of these were, in increasing intensity. Yeah. And you remember there was that time where the martyrs said, you are doing the right thing. All of your methods are correct.
Yeah.
So it's like, in case you're wondering, was that a little too harsh? Was that just, was that heartless? Was that cruel? All this stuff. Now you'll see who this wrath was poured out on. Right? Yeah. And because this is a relentless entity here. Yeah. And even though it's going to be called Babylon, so we'll see exactly why. But even though Babylon knows it's going down to destruction. It is going to hang on till the very end. It's going to gather the powers and the kings and the gods and everything, you know, and what's going to happen in the next couple of chapters is they're all going to gather together and mount an attack on the agents of God.
Yeah, to get smoked.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And this is kind of what it says here. And it says, with whom the kings of the earth, we'll get to that in a second, committed acts of immorality, and those who dwell on the earth were made drunk with the wine of her immorality. Okay, so you see this great harlot. You see this word immorality used twice. And so what it kind of makes us think about right at the very beginning is, well, this must have everything to do with sexual immorality. Right. Must be debauchery, must be, you know, all this twisted, perverted stuff. But actually, and we need to keep this theme through this whole chapter, this immorality means it is spiritual adultery.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about idolatry. So what we see here is, come here, I'll show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters. Now, remember what many waters is. It's
the nations.
That's the nations. That's the peoples. That's the earth dwellers, the mouth breathers, right?
The mouth breathers, yeah.
Yes. So spiritual adultery, idolatry, worshiping other gods, the gods of the world. Now, we're going to see this sort of playing under the surface. And we're going to look at this at the end when we kind of work our way through all this. We'll see that this comes back to Psalm 82 and Deuteronomy 32, where it's the divine council that rebelled.
Yeah.
And we're going to see their presence here.
Okay.
In this whole thing. We're gonna line it up. But what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through the details, and then we're going to pan out and look at the big picture.
I thought
some locusts come up out of the abyss. They're coming to get
that
you.
was a wasp.
Yeah,
but it was a moth. We're all right. I'm not going to kill it. It almost lit on your head, but I wasn't going to smack you in the head.
You would not be the first, and you probably won't be the last. Okay, so the earthly rulers, those who who crave power and control and all those things, they have totally bought into this idolatry, this spiritual adultery thing.
The kings.
Yes, because it is because it benefits them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
And they want the power and the wealth and the control at any cost. And she's going to give it to them. And she is totally bought in with the worship of the gods. Now, keep in mind, this Babylon is a city. We'll see this in just a second. Okay, so she sits on many waters, but then it says, he carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. So if she's sitting on many waters, how can she be in a wilderness? Got any ideas about that?
It's a stream that runs through the wilderness.
Kind of, sort of. Do you remember the beast that comes from the sea?
Oh, yeah.
And the beast from the earth?
Yeah.
John is pulling these two ideas together. Read Isaiah 21:1 and then read Isaiah 21:9. John is taking both of these verses and kind of mashing them together.
Gotcha.
To kind of get the full effect of this beast.
All
or
right,
this
21:1
harlot. Yeah.
is the oracle concerning the wilderness of the sea. As windstorms in Negev sweep on, it comes from the wilderness, from a terrifying land.
Okay.
And then verse 9
says,
now behold, here comes a troop of riders, horsemen in pairs, and one said, fallen is Babylon, and all the images of her gods are shattered on the ground.
Yeah, so we got this waters, wilderness, fallen, idolatry, gods, all that stuff is kind of crammed in together in this vision that John sees.
Okay.
So also another reference to water comes from Isaiah 17, 12, and 13. You'll see this pretty clearly.
Okay. Isaiah
17.
12 and 13?
Yep.
Okay. Alas, the uproar of many peoples who roar like the roaring of the seas, and the rumbling of nations who rush on like the rumbling of mighty waters.
Yep.
The nations rumble on like the rumbling of many waters, but he will rebuke them and they will flee far away. and be chased like chaff in the mountains before the wind, or like whirling dust before a gale.
So there you go. There's the water in the wilderness, all smashed in together. Okay, so now I want to read these next few verses, and then we're going to go back and talk about exactly who this is.
Okay.
So it says, I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, full of blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so we've seen 7 heads, 10 horns. That comes straight from Daniel, right?
Yeah.
So these, it says the woman was clothed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a gold cup full of abominations and of the unclean things of her immorality. Okay, so right there we see purple and scarlet, gold, precious stones, pearls. Okay, this is like the ultimate pretender.
Yeah.
Okay, so she is pretending to be of royalty. She's pretending to be wealthy, powerful, kind of, all overarching everything.
Right.
She's holding a gold cup full of abominations. And another translation says abomination, names of abomination.
But she gonna be holding a cup full of wrath here
She
before
is
long.
absolutely going to. but that is one of those under the surface sort of allusions to gods.
Yeah.
Gods. She's powered by and in league with the rebellious Elohim.
Gotcha.
Right? And of the unclean things of her immorality, that's the idol worship. You know, it's all there in her cup. That's what she's all about.
So that's that immorality thread still being pulled through.
That's
here.
exactly right. That's exactly right. All of this immorality relates to this worshiping and being in concert with and in league with the gods of the nations.
Lowercase g's.
And on her forehead, this is an interesting verse right here. On her forehead, a name was written, a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Interesting. Two things here. In Rome, the prostitutes wore a headband, and it sort of identified them for who they were.
Red light before there was red light.
Yeah, exactly.
Say, is that like an open close sign? They take it off. And
Pretty much, yeah. I think that's really what it was. You dress up like you're, in your harlot clothes.
Yeah.
And you put that headband on, and everybody knew you were open for business. Yes, exactly. Yeah. But the interesting thing is, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Now, we saw a reference to the crucifixion in the last chapter. What was this the sign that was put over Jesus' head?
King of the Jews.
King of the Jews, yeah. And so it is not just an identifier. It's like, it's like a cosmic identifier.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why he says it's a mystery. Like he can't hardly believe it.
Yeah.
It's sort of astonishing, as it were.
Yeah.
And then it says in verse 6, I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered greatly. I was amazed and astonished, almost like
you for real, bro?
Yeah, and almost like it's so grotesque I can't look away.
Is this saying like it had devoured some of these saints and these are not earth dwellers?
No, these are the martyrs.
Believers.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And the heaven dwellers.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you get this picture in verses 1 through 6 that this is, well, we'll find out in a minute that it's a city.
Yeah.
It's a city. And he is going to, in the next section, he's going to begin using Babylon language to specifically refer to Rome. So this is, remember we were talking in the very beginning.
This isn't Los Angeles?
It could be. It very well could be. It could be New York City. It could be, could be the White House.
Could be Memphis.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
Just not Mumford.
That's a great place to live.
That's a holy town.
Yeah. And it's clear if you go down to verse 10, when he talks about the kings, 5 have fallen, the other one is, the other's not yet come. He's talking in terms of this is the city that I know, but it refers to any other city that would
Babylon system.
Yeah, that every empire has a headquarters.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And
so it's applicable in any time, is what it's saying.
Absolutely.
And that would make sense why he refers to Egypt as Babylon before Babylon.
That's
and
exactly
Babylon
right.
is Babylon, Rome is Babylon,
Speaking,
and so forth.
and this is another key, because you remember that he's writing in apocalyptic style genre, so that if the wrong person were to get hold of this, they would go, oh, Babylon, okay, Babylon's a harlot, who cares? But he's using this language that clearly identifies this to his readers as Rome.
It's
Rome,
his MacGuffin.
And this is really important because Rome was full of propaganda. The Roman Empire, it was the Pax Romana, right? It's we stick with us, let us rule you, and life will be wonderful for you. Okay. And it made promise after promise after promise. This is a place full of hope, a place full of peace. You'll flourish like you've never flourished before, as long as you don't get out of line.
That's it.
As long as you follow all the rules and worship the right emperor, and put the little dust in the little incense burner and say Caesar is Lord, and you do all that stuff, and you'll have the best life that you can possibly have. And that's exactly what we see here. Hey, look at my purple, my scarlet, my gold, my precious stones, my pearl. Okay, so that's what we see here. Now, here's where the controversy comes in, because I think we can pretty clearly see that it's going to be, he's talking about Babylon, and he's going to reference, a lot of things that have to do with Rome. But a lot of people throughout the centuries have thought that this refers to Jerusalem, an apostate Jerusalem. Yeah, and that that the beast is Israel. Yeah, because some people have this bias, like, well, the church is raptured. Okay, so the church, there's only saints are there, either converted Jews or something like that.
Gotcha.
And so this is the way that the Jewish nation is dealt with.
Okay.
And so this kind of fits into some of the dispensational system and things like that. That this is going to be Israel. Okay, so we're going to kind of unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is. And I hope not to offend anybody that thinks this is Jerusalem, but I think it's pretty clear that it's not. But we're going to show you why. Because there is a difference between an unfaithful wife and a prostitute. Okay. There's also a difference between a seducer and the one who gets seduced. And we see these, Joshua Yoder on...
one's a deceiver and one's deceived.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You can see Joshua Yoder went through a list of women in the Old Testament. Right. And, it's like what category does Delilah fit in?
Right,
obviously she's a seducer, right?
She's a deceiver.
What category does Tamar fit into? Well, she kind of was a seducer, but she was a victim at the hands of her father-in-law, right? And
so would Samson be deceived?
Yeah.
Is that a question?
He has gotten in concert with the abominations.
What
of the
about
earth.
David?
Well, see, there you go. Is Bathsheba?
That's what I'm saying. What about David? He was a seducer, wasn't he?
David seduced himself.
Yeah, and actually, David just exercised his power.
Yeah,
because
Bathsheba was just taking a bath.
Yeah,
like I don't think she was doing it to seduce the guy.
No, some people would say she was, but she was doing what was typical to do at a particular time of the month for ladies.
Yeah,
and he saw that she was beautiful, and so he sent for her, and then when she got there, he said, "Please lead her into my inner chamber."
Yeah.
I think at that point she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, I don't even know that he was deceiving as much as this is what's going to happen.
This is what's going to happen. That's exactly right. And then he tries to deceive her husband.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work out too well.
Poor man killed.
Yeah, exactly. So, I want us to get a few scriptures real quick. Okay,
that's interesting to think about, this deceiver versus deceived.
I know it is. So there is a contrast. Now, you remember, well, we haven't gotten there yet, but in Revelation 21, you see a city come down as a bride, right? The city is the new Jerusalem.
Right.
It's a bride, okay? And here we have Babylon, who is a harlot.
Right.
Okay, so keep that contrast in your mind as we're reading through some of these verses here. Okay, so there's a stark contrast in this scene between Israel as God's faithful bride when pure. So read Isaiah 54, 5 and 6, and read Hosea 2, 19 and 20.
All right, Isaiah 54, it says, for your husband is your maker, whose name is the Lord of hosts, and your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel, who is called the God of all the earth. For the Lord has called you like a wife forsaken and grieved in spirit, even like a wife of one's youth, when she is rejected, says your God.
Yeah, there you go. And also read 62, 5. Read the Hosea.
I will betroth you to me forever. Yes, I will betroth you to me in righteousness and in justice, in loving kindness and in compassion. And I will betroth you to me in faithfulness, then you will know the Lord.
That's it.
Okay.
The bride, right?
Yeah.
62, 5.
It says, for as a young man marries a virgin, so your sons will marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so your God will rejoice over you.
There it is. There it is. So it's a bride. Okay.
Yeah.
So so now we get a contrast between Israel as God's faithful bride when pure, and Israel as an adulteress when unfaithful. So read Isaiah 1:21. Get Jeremiah 3:1.
Okay, Isaiah 1:21 is how the faithful city has become a harlot. She who was full of justice, righteousness once lodged in her, but now murderers. Okay.
And then, there you go. Jeremiah 3:1.
God says, if a husband divorces his wife and she goes from him and belongs to another man, will he still return to her? Will not that land be completely polluted? But you are a harlot with many lovers, yet you turn to me, declares the Lord.
That's pretty straightforward.
That is.
Yeah, Leviticus 17:7, and they shall no longer sacrifice their sacrifices to the goat demons with which they play the harlot. This shall be a permanent statute to them throughout their generations. So and then we got to read this one. Ezekiel 16. Remember Ezekiel?
Oh, Ezekiel.
Yes, good old Ezekiel. Ezekiel 16. That's the passage you should never read to your children, even if you're reading through the whole Bible. 16:20 says, moreover, you took your sons and daughters whom you had borne to me, and you sacrificed them to idols to be devoured. Were your harlotries so small a matter? Yeah, so he's clearly equating, Israel's propensity to go and worship other gods as an adulteress.
And that pulls even harder on this harlotry and immorality coming down to idolatry.
Yes, exactly. Now, so that there are, of course, we see that New Jerusalem as a bride, Babylon as a harlot, but there are also two incidents in the Old Testament of a harlot being an evil empire.
Okay.
One is Nineveh. Nineveh, get Nahum 3:4. Nineveh seduces other nations with their prostitution and their witchcraft. You could read the whole chapter, but just kind of read that one verse.
All right. It says, all because of the many harlotries of the harlot, the charming one, the mistress of sorceries, who sells nations by their harlotries and families by her sorceries.
Yes, nations. Seduces the nations, okay? And then the other example is Tyre, the city of Tyre. Read Isaiah 23:17. Once again, there's a whole chapter. And you could read all of Ezekiel 16, and it will talk a lot about Tyre, or Ezekiel 28, I mean. In fact, I may go to that. Go ahead and read the Isaiah one.
23:17.
Yeah.
It will come about at the end of 70 years that the Lord will visit Tyre. Then she will go back to her harlot's wages and will play the harlot with all the kingdoms on the face of the earth.
Yeah, there you go. And if you look through you can just start picking verses out of Ezekiel 28. Because your heart is lifted up and you have said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of gods, in the heart of the seas, there it is again. Yet you are a man and not God. And it goes on and on and on. You've acquired riches for yourself, gold and silver for your treasures. The sin of Tyre was seducing with their wealth.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had all this massive wealth, and they would make alliances with these other nations. It's like, hey, we'll take care of you. You have to come and you worship our gods. And I mean, it says, take up a lamentation over the king of Tyre and say to him, thus says the Lord God, you had the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering, the ruby, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the lapis lazuli, the turquoise, the emerald, the gold, the workmanship of your settings and sockets, what's in you. He goes on and on and on. And then he just rips them right down.
Yeah. The king of Tyre, man,
Well, Ezekiel don't play because
at all.
In 16, like I remember he says I looked up there, you multiply your harlotry.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Just to multiply your harlotry.
It says, by the multitude of your iniquities and the unrighteousness of your trade, you profaned your sanctuaries. There have brought you fire from in the midst of you, so on and so forth.
Is there a word, I got to ask y'all, because this happens to me. Is there a word that you hear that movies have ruined for you? Like you always think of a film?
I don't know. What's your word?
Lamentation.
Conan?
Yes.
Yeah.
You like Pat got me the little plaque. It's up there on that shelf. Hear the lamentations of their women. Like for some reason, every time I hear that, all I can hear is hear the lamentations of their women.
It'll never leave your brain.
Leave.
No, you're
I'm gonna
exactly
be
right.
like, I'm gonna have Alzheimer's in my 80s, and I'm gonna be there and be like, hear the lamentations of their women.
Now, there are times when Israel and Judah are portrayed in the Old Testament as prostitutes. Get Jeremiah 2:34, get Jeremiah 4:30, and of course, once again, you could read the whole chapter 16 of Ezekiel, which we won't do tonight.
Didn't we? I think we have.
We have. Yeah, we did a whole episode on it.
That's right. I was thinking we did.
Jeremiah
Absolutely.
2 what?
Jeremiah 2:34.
Okay. 2:34, it says, also on your skirt is found the lifeblood of the innocent poor. You did not find them breaking in, but in spite of all these things.
Yes, exactly. 4:30.
And you, O desolate one, what will you do? Although you dress in scarlet, although you decorate yourself with ornaments of gold, although you enlarge your eyes with paint, in vain you make yourself beautiful. Your lovers despise you. They seek your life.
See, and this is where some people kind of get the idea, because it's scarlet. It's got precious stones, all these different kinds of things. But
And makeup's bad.
it's all, it's terrible. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, but it falls short of qualifying Jerusalem and Israel as the Babylon, because Babylon is a city, Israel is a nation.
Yeah.
Also, even though Israel turns to the ways of a harlot, she is the one that has been seduced.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here in this Babylon city, the mother of harlots, this is the engine of chaos. This is the originator of evil. This is the evil, and the seduction that is powered by the dragon just flows out of her.
I feel like you're giving a WWE intro.
Kind of, sort of. Yes. The engine of chaos.
Yes, the master of destruction.
Of evil. Now, in the other corner, the seducer.
Yes.
It kind of sounds like that.
Yeah,
doesn't
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
I like it. Also, we now know this as Babylon the Great.
Yeah.
We saw Babylon the Great already in a previous chapter. So it really, I think it would be a terrible stretch to try and assign this to Jerusalem, Israel, all that kind of stuff. Apostate Israel, even the apostate church later on, will be kind of described as, an adulteress.
Yeah.
But they may become like Babylon. They may resemble Babylon. They may do Babylon things, but they are not the source.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Babylon is evil driving the bus. Yeah.
Well, like I said, they're deceived.
Yes.
They are the deceived.
That's right. And they are the ones. Now, Babylon is not coming back,
Yeah.
But Israel does come back.
That's right.
And so does the church. The church
right.
repents. Judgment begins with the house of God, right?
That's it.
Exactly. We're experiencing some of that in our world today. Okay, so that takes care of who Babylon is and kind of a little bit of what we're looking at. But then we get down to verse 7. And he says, I wondered greatly. And the angel says, why do you wonder? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Now, think about the dream of Nebuchadnezzar that Daniel interprets, the big giant statue, and it has each part of the statue is a kingdom, right? So the final kingdom, the 4th kingdom, is the feet made of iron and clay, and the little tiny stone, not made with human hands, not cut with human hands, strikes the feet and shatters the whole thing. Right. Well, that kingdom is the Roman Empire, that 4th kingdom, and it is the kingdom of God that shatters the feet, shatters that. Yeah. Okay. So same thing again when we see the 4 beasts later on in Daniel's vision. The 4th one is that terrifying beast that you almost don't have words to describe, and it chews up everything and it eats up everything, and that one goes down to destruction. And so John is imagining, pulling those images up to the forefront, and so it says 7 heads, 10 horns. That's just Rome language, right? So he says this is a cool verse too. Because he says, the beast you saw was and is not and is about to come. Okay, so remember that's a descriptor of Jesus, of the Lamb, and of the one who sits on the throne, who was and is to come. Well, he says here, this one was and is not. I
was going to say, he's got the extra word in there.
Exactly. So he's not saying that this beast was an eternal being. It was certainly a created being, because that's where the is not comes in.
So that it has an end.
Exactly. It has a beginning and it has an end. And this is the cool part of it. And is about to come up out of the abyss and go to destruction.
Yeah.
That's a heck of a journey, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're out of the abyss and going to destruction.
Yeah.
Well, and these actually become words of encouragement, because you remember what came up out of the abyss already. Chapters 7, 8,
and all that smoke stuff. And everything.
Smoke and the locusts and the weird stinging tails and the torment and all that kind of stuff. Right. Well, this beast comes from the same place. You know? Ultimately, it's the beast that comes up out of the sea, that signifies the nations, comes up out of the earth, which signifies desert and chaos and all this stuff, Leviathan, Behemoth, all this stuff. But ultimately their source is the abyss. The abyss is where the evil is. And you remember about the abyss and the locked up watchers and all this stuff. It's just the nastiest stuff comes from the abyss. It will come up out of the abyss and go to destruction. And those who dwell on the earth, there they are again.
The mouth breathers.
Whose name has not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will wonder when they see the beast that he was and is not and will come and go to destruction. They think that this beast is everything the beast claims to be. That Babylon is everything she claims to be.
Would some people interpret this as the Antichrist?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And this is, this is where some of the other controversy comes up, because a lot of people will interpret the next part of this chapter as a new world order.
Okay. Yeah. Heard a lot about that.
Yeah. I think that's a little misguided. I don't think we're talking about anything. I think we're talking cosmically here. Yeah. Once again, staying consistent with our symbolism, all that kind of stuff. We're not going to say that anybody is China or anybody's Russia.
China.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, when he says, they will wonder, that means marvel. That means, like they'll be like, I can't believe
They can't believe
this.
it. That's
it's
right.
Incredible.
Yeah. And we'll see in the next 2 chapters, when they see Babylon go down, they're going to weep.
Yep. They're going to howl.
Their living has just disappeared. Yeah. Now, we got a little bit of sense of this. Remember when in the first, which the third of this and the third of that, and everything is becoming unsettled and unstable. It's the instability of the empire, the vulnerability of the empire. Well, now it's just going to go down. And so this is the angel saying, hey, you can see this beast now and this harlot now, but there will be a time very soon when
it's no more.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a cool phrase too. Here is the mind which has wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I really think that John is. I think the angel says this, but I think John is highlighting this. This is once again a little insider line to the Christians. Here's the mind which has wisdom. Get this. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. Here again, it can't be Israel. Israel doesn't sit on 7 mountains. You know, this is not a thing. But Rome is called the city on the 7 mountains.
Yep.
The city.
There you go.
So John's getting a little kind of,
Little pointed.
Yeah, he's laying it out there for him. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sits. And they are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come, and when he comes, he must remain a little while. Now, there's all kinds of ways you can kind of go with this. If we stay consistent with what John is doing here, what John is doing is he's using Babylon language to talk about Rome, to talk about Rome very specifically. He's already set it up with the 7 heads, 10 horns, the beast, the kingdom, all this stuff. And so he's gonna elaborate. He's gonna say, this is Rome. This is the city of Rome. It's the Roman Empire. It's the system. It's the whole 9 yards. And he says, the beast which was and is not is himself also an 8th and is one of the 7, and he goes to destruction. That's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But here we're talking about John is kind of referring to their emperor system. Okay, so he's talking, and a lot of people will get into. In fact, I think I'm gonna go to this little commentary right here.
The Caesars,
and that's what you're not supposed to run with. So
have you been to his palace?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I actually have been, and I'm gonna go again. Here we go. He says in this commentary here, various features identify Rome as the Babylon of John's day. Keep in mind, Babylon will come again and again and again. But it sits on 7 hills. It was the city that reigns over the kings of the earth. Like Babylon, it had conquered God's people and destroyed Jerusalem. It was a successor of other evil empires, including Babylon. It was a mercantile empire that sat on waters and is known to have traded in precisely the kinds of merchandise listed in the next chapter. Now, this with these emperors, you can kind of do it this way. He says, some commentators count the kings starting from the first emperor, Augustus, but use up the 7 before reaching the current emperor, Domitian, although the text itself claims that one of the 7 was then reigning. So you can get into all sorts of math, all sorts of succession plans, all sorts of genealogies. The real clue is that one king was then reigning and one of the 7 would return. That's where we get this is also an 8th and is one of the 7. They're referring, it kind of refers to Nero's the myth that he was going to come again, that he was going to rise from the dead and come back and rule. And this was kind of like a dread that everybody had and nobody talked about, it's like, oh well, that must mean that Nero's back. There's unrest in the empire. Nero's back. So it's more than likely that that there's stuff like that in here. So you could run yourself ragged trying to figure out. Oh well, that one was Julius, and that was you can just go on and on and on. Suffice it to say, if you kind of take the more symbolic view, is there'll be a succession of emperors. It's kind of they're gonna rise, they're gonna fall. One's gonna be rumored to come back. It all is wrapped up in this beast and in this kings of the earth and this Babylon thing that swims around in this mess we call Rome.
I love the fact though too that they're talking about this king that will come back. And then this next section we're going to get into here shortly is about the king that did come back. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, look, this is what they're expecting. This is what they're going to see, but this is the truth.
And honestly, if you want to do a genealogy thing and do all that math, more power to you. You can explain that to me.
Yeah.
And that is probably how they read it in their time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're going to probably be able to assign a name to each one of these.
Yeah.
But we can read it as applying to our time as we have administrations that come, administrations that go.
Yeah.
And it says the 10 horns are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but they receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. There's even going to be those that don't last very long at all. And they're going to claim to have all this power and all this stuff. These have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. That's just the key line that ties it all together.
Yeah.
There's going to be a mess. There's going to be one after the other. Some will go for a while, some will not. One is going to be rumored to come back, but they have one purpose.
Yep.
And their purpose is to give their power and authority to the beast.
Regardless if they're a flash in the pan or they are there for 250 years.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so it's probably not, whoever's going to take over South Korea and
fill in controversy country here.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Those could be representative of, what John is referencing here.
But it's a system.
It is. It is all about the system. And what John is, what the angel is obviously communicating to John is about the system that he knows about, which is Rome.
Yeah.
And it's like, see how this one only lasted this long, and see how this one, and see this, and all this stuff. They have one purpose. They give their power and authority to the beast.
Yep.
The beast with the harlot, it's all about making promises you'll never be able to keep.
Yeah.
It's the promise of peace.
You're writing checks that your
body can't cash. Yes. I need to write a sermon with that title.
You do. You do. That would be good.
So that's,
go with the full unedited version, though.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't know if you're ready for that.
They weren't ready for the SMDH.
I was, so it tickled me.
Me too. I heard the gasp. Oh, when he said that.
Unfortunately, 80% of the congregation had no idea what I just did.
I know. I was back there like, LMAO.
You gaspers, we made fun of you.
Yes. ROF. Yeah. I hope you're tracking with us here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting toward the end of the chapter, and after we get through these next few verses, then we'll kind of back up and take the big picture.
Okay.
But it says these will wage war against the Lamb. Now he's referencing, okay, so this is what I've been pouring out judgment on.
Yeah.
Babylon, the kings, which are the gods, the beasts, and the waters. Okay, so all of this complete picture. Now you can see for real what we've been fighting this whole time.
Yeah.
You know? And now you know how sinister and diabolical and damaging and destructive and seductive and all that. This is what it is. Now, these will wage war against the Lamb himself.
Yeah.
And they actually think they're going to get somewhere. But it says, and the Lamb will overcome them because he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings.
Yep.
And those who are with him are the called and chosen and faithful. That is lying straight to the Christians.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. John's going to see this terrible, terrible, grotesque, disgusting image. And he says, yeah, that's going to wage war against the Lamb, but it's going to be no contest.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he is Lord of Lords, King of Kings. Those who are with him, that's you, are the called and chosen and faithful.
Yeah.
And then we get a little bit more descriptor. So everything we've kind of been alluding to is sort of laid out for us a little bit. He says, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are the peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So there you go. That's exactly what we're talking about. The earth dwellers and the merchants and everybody who is in league with the beast and the harlot. Okay, the 10 horns which you saw and the beast. This is very, very interesting because basically the allies of the beast will turn on the harlot.
Yep.
And will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh and will burn her up with fire. In other words, you got the city and you got the empire, and it will be self-destructive.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the minute you don't deliver something, then
Done.
you're done.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened to Rome, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the downfall of the Roman Empire?
Wasn't it immorality?
Yep.
It eroded from within.
Because that's what I can't help but look at our country.
I know.
And that's where I've said, I'm like, man, you see the fall of Rome, you had this massive, powerful empire, and their sense of morality, like you said, just eroded over time to the point where there was no morality.
Well, I mean, verse 14 says it all. It says, these will wage war against the Lamb. That's been happening forever. And
Yeah.
it's still happening right now.
And
Yeah.
it will happen in the last day.
Well,
Yeah.
and it says, and the Lamb will overcome because he is Lord of Lords and Kings of Kings, and those who are with him
Yep.
are called the chosen and faithful. So it's not our job to do the overcoming.
No,
Jesus
no.
has already overcome
Yeah.
We overcome.
because Jesus did.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But we are called to overcome, which when we overcome, that is resisting.
Babylon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not playing with Babylon.
Yeah, we're
That's
like
right.
the little kids standing behind their parents'
Yes,
legs.
that's exactly right. Yeah, in the
Get
town
'em, Dad.
bully, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Get him, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your mom chases them away, and you start strutting in the house like,
Yeah.
yeah, look what I did.
Yeah.
You know.
My dad can beat your dad.
Yeah.
But
It's
that-
wild to me that it's crazy to me to think that the evil forces have the audacity to attempt to fight him. Like they actually think, and it's like at that point, do they think that they have a chance, or is it like this is just they're like the dog cornered, like all their cards are on the table. Like at this point, it's like we can either just give up or just go out fighting. Like what is their purpose for trying to fight him at this
Well,
point?
if you think about it, like I said, the enemy only comes to kill, steal, and destroy, right? And nobody knows, not even Jesus. Jesus said not even he knows the final day and hour.
Yeah.
And so they are trying to do as much stealing, killing, and destroying as they can till that point.
well, and also there's two things. They want to buy themselves as much time as they can. And so you get this picture. It's not just the rebellious gods. It's not just the empires.
Mm-hmm.
They're gathering all of the earth dwellers from the four corners of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to, all the chess pieces are going to be on the table.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if we just get everybody, then perhaps we can do enough damage to buy ourselves some more time. Because they got the unlocked watchers on their side. They got
So they know that they're going to lose.
they have to, yeah. Because King of Kings, Lord of Lords.
I was going to say, literally their creator.
yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, it's literally their creator.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't
That's like your mom. You talk about your mom. It's like, I brought you into this world. I can
know.
take you out of it.
Back out. That's exactly right. But everybody's talking now about how AI that
Yeah.
we created will eventually, become powerful enough to overtake us.
Yep.
They won't.
Really?
Yeah, yes. So I use Chat GPT all the time.
Yeah.
And I actually just told Marcy tonight, I was like, I'm no longer worried that my AI bots, I call him the Terminator, but I said, I'm no longer worried that he's going to kill us, because I asked him to build this little program for me, and he was working on it yesterday. Well, he never sent it to me. And I asked him last night, I was like, or whatever, I don't know what its gender
exactly.
goes by, but I was like, hey, do I need a reminder to get this program? And it said, no, as soon as it's ready, I'll send it to you. And I didn't get it. So tonight, I was thinking about it. I was like, dang it, I didn't ever get that. So I messaged it and it's like, hey, I need that program. And it was like, oh yeah. And it started again. It forgot. And I literally, I said, you forgot. And it said, my bad, I forgot. And I was like, I even asked, I said, how does an AI bot forget? And it was like, I understand your frustration. I'm sorry.
Wow.
So I told Marcy, I was like, I'm not worried. This thing's dumber than I am.
I said, I'm only not human.
Yes.
Man, oh man.
So it forgot.
That's crazy. That is crazy. So I went on my little Claude AI
Yeah.
last night.
Yours
and
has a friendlier name.
It does, and
Yeah.
and he's very pleasant most of the time. I pulled up Claude, and it was like, you're going to be using Claude Haiku tonight, because the other Claude is there's too much activity. So this one's not as powerful.
So you got the lesser Claude.
Yeah, I got Claude
Claude
Jr.
Light.
Yeah, Light. Yeah, that's about right.
Claude Jr.
He still did a pretty good job, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. So to finish this up, the nations will turn on the very thing that
They eat their own.
that promised all of this peace and all this stuff.
Consume itself. Yeah.
You know, they say that one of the early signs of the fall of the Roman Empire was the shrinking of the language.
Yep.
That people used fewer and fewer words when they spoke and when they wrote things down.
Well,
Shorthand.
that's telling.
How many words have we lost in
Man, yeah.
English? in the last-
LOL.
I try to bring them back. Flabbergasted. I
Yes.
say words like that.
Yeah, I say conundrum and kerfuffle a lot.
Conflabbit.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah.
But no, yes, our
I think we lose words all the time.
this isn't necessarily words, but it's just a form of writing. Do they learn cursive anymore?
No, nobody uses that anymore.
See, like I still think I kind of hate that.
But every time I try to write something in cursive, my hand starts to hurt. It's like
What's
I
funny
think I'll just use
is
my
it's the
thumbs.
beast.
I know.
Well,
it is.
what's funny is it's I have to actively try to make myself write in print, because all throughout school I had to write in cursive, and so that was everything that I did was cursive, and so now I'll write in cursive, and my daughter would be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Writing code."
Yeah.
Writing code.
It is
You
a
can't
code.
read this.
Yeah,
I just never knew why they called it cursive.
I don't either.
It sounds like you're cursing somebody.
It does.
I know.
I speak cursive.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. But that is true. Yeah, I mean and I think about this like with our phones. On the farm, I see it a lot. Like I've been spraying, and I'm guilty of this. I can't remember certain measurements. Like it'd be a pint or a quart, and I mean I kind of know some offhand, but some of them I can't remember. And my dad, he didn't have this phone and all that back when he was a kid, so
Right.
he'll be like, "Well, it's 2 pints to the acre, or it's a quart to the acre," and I'm like, well, "How many ounces is that?" And so I have to look it up in my phone, but they just know. And and there's certain things like that. And I'm like, how many people don't, there's people today, if you said it's a pint, they'd be like, what the crap is a pint?
I know.
So we are we're losing,
We're
reliant.
We
on-
talked about this before, when we were kids, I had phone numbers memorized.
Yep.
And I couldn't tell you my phone number unless
yeah.
I have my phone with me.
Yeah. I have to think about that now.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that? What is that? The gist of that, like your brain, or what does that mean? By you're saying like the language is eroding and things. What is that showing? What's happening? I guess what I'm getting at.
Well, we're becoming less and less sophisticated.
Yeah.
And nuanced.
So we're going back to caveman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the general consciousness. We talk about this all the time, but common sense isn't very common anymore.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple manners, being polite.
Man. Yeah, that definitely isn't common anymore.
Yeah, and being sort of upright and sophisticated and dignified is not really valued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that is a portent of things to come. For us in our
When
world.
I was drinking my coffee earlier, should I have had my
pinky out. That's exactly right. Yes.
I do drink I did not have Earl Grey tea tonight, but I should next time I'll drink that with my pinky out.
Exactly. Would you like a little milk with that tea? Yes, exactly.
But it is crazy to see that, the contrast.
And I mean, gosh, how many uprisings and revolts and
Constant. I feel like it's every freaking day.
That's what I'm talking about. So it says that the 10 horns and the beast will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, will eat her flesh, will burn her up with fire, for God has put it in their hearts to execute his purpose by having a common purpose and by giving their kingdom to the beast until the words of God will be fulfilled. That's just Rome talk right there.
Yeah.
And that is maybe it might be LA talk. It might be, it might be Beijing talk. It's just
System talk.
when it gets that corrupt, it will eat itself alive.
Yep.
And and God will not be upset about that.
No.
Yeah.
And it'll be just.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he caps it off by saying, the woman you saw is the great city which reigns over the king of the earth. There you go. So what does that then kind of allude to us, Okay, so what I want to do is I want us to pull back just for a moment, and I want us to get this complete picture. Okay, so we've got basically 5 layers here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the nations, the peoples, those who dwell on the earth. That's the waters,
right,
and the chaos of the wilderness. Okay, that's what this system sits on top of.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's think, sort of imagine, think creatively about, and I'm not just talking about one nation, one. I'm talking about
Nations.
globally.
Yep.
You've got civil wars happening in Africa. You've got just terrible, awful things happening to the people. The people are the ones who suffer.
That's right.
So then you've the next layer up, you've got the beast. We know we're familiar with the beast. Empire, greed, corruption, oppression, exploitation, and also let's add in military power.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how did the Roman Empire keep the peace and keep everybody so happy?
With the military.
If you got out of line, that's right. And we're going to go conquer some more territory and make them just as happy as you are. Military power. Let's enforce it. Power from the top down. Okay, so you got the nations, you got the beast. Then you've got, in between that, you've got the kings.
Okay.
You've got the rulers and the merchants, the power brokers, the movers and the shakers, the moguls, the oligarchs. Those are all the people that control 80% of the world's wealth.
That's right.
Yeah.
And very little of it gets out of their hands.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kings, rulers, merchants, they get in bed with Babylon for their own benefit. And I heard one commentator describe the kings, the rulers, the merchants as the economy. And he went on for a while about economy, and he had some really good points. He said, sometimes we speak about the economy as if it were personified, as if it were a living being, because we're going to elect this president because he says he's going to do good things for the economy,
make the economy healthy.
Yes, exactly. And what is this going to do to the economy, and how is the economy going to react to this, and how's the economy going to rebound from that?
That's right.
It's all the economy, and yet we talk about, well, if the economy is good and it's stable, then everybody's going to be better off, everybody's going to be happy.
That's right.
But it actually is just infested with these kings and rulers and merchants.
Because I don't care who you are, it's that ongoing joke. It's like I want as much money as Derrick Henry makes. It's like, no, I want as much money as the guy who signs his check.
Yeah.
And then so forth and so forth.
And then you go on I want Bill Gates' money.
Yeah.
You're never, when that's your goal, you're never satisfied.
That's right.
Rockefeller said, how much, they asked him, how much is enough? And he said, just a little bit more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was an old saying on farming where it's like, well, that guy doesn't want all the land. He just wants every piece that touches his.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a sickness.
Yeah.
And there is something otherworldly going on. It's very, 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 very rare to see. It's harder for a camel to go through an island.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's exactly the point that Jesus was making. Than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
And this is why.
That's right.
Because of the seductress, who happens to be the next level up. That is Babylon. That is the headquarters of the empire.
Yeah.
It is where it all originates. And in this case, he's saying it all comes out of Rome.
And this is something I think, all of us struggle with this in some form.
Absolutely.
Be it, you could crave money, you could crave status.
Yep.
You could crave, I would even go so far to say retirement. There's certain people that they almost crave doing nothing.
I know.
That's a weird way to look.
Because that's a status of being wealthy.
It is.
Is that I don't have to do anything.
I don't have to do anything.
I heard this thing about getting a suntan. That For most of history, getting a suntan was a sign that you were lower class.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're working outside.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You were wealthy if you had, the palest skin possible for your skin color.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, though. This is how seductive this is.
Yeah.
Because this is why we have to preach sermons about money in church.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd think that we would just be, we're Christians. God's generous to us. We'll
do what's right with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And yet, our initial reaction and temptation is always to get more.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And it's not just money; it's all the other things that pleasure.
I was going to say it can all come down to three things: money, power, or lust.
Yeah.
And that covers them all. It's because we want power over people. We want to be an influencer. We want our lust, and lust is not just a sexual thing. You can lust for other things, and then money as well. Because I think those three things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I think that they are all the capitals of the Babylon system.
And I think that it's a fine line you walk, because it's nothing wrong with being a driven individual.
No,
Like, that's what I think that, like, it's good to have drive, and we're called to be workers. That's one thing. Like, Jesus is not a fan of laziness and calls you to be a worker. But you kind of, what is your goal? Like, what are you seeking from this? Like,
it's what does Jesus calls us to work on? Is we're supposed to be kingdom builders.
Yeah.
Which kingdom are we building?
Yeah.
Well, and even laziness is a form of greed.
Yep.
It's very self-focused,
That's right.
self-centered. I would like everybody else to do the work for me, please.
Yes.
I would like to get a paycheck and not have to do anything.
Yep.
I would like to never turn in that project,
Yep.
See,
but be okay anyway.
Yeah, I can't do that because I micromanage. No, I can do it better. It's like, no, don't do it for me. I can do it better. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, but if you were lazy,
Yeah.
it's like, I don't want to cut that grass. I need to find somebody that will.
Or like the guy that's like, I don't want to put this buggy back up. I want to leave it out here in the parking lot.
Don't get me started on buggies.
I want to run over that guy in my truck when I see him.
Yeah.
Man,
I agree.
I have my own parking spot at Walmart. It's right next to the buggy rack.
Yeah.
Because I just get me one out and I put it right back.
But there's
It
always
works every
one
time.
there's always someone who puts that buggy right there in that parking spot.
I know.
Too.
I know.
Yeah.
I
What
watch
is that
people
all
like, I go to Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply does not have a buggy thing out there. So you have to push it back inside.
No,
they just
nobody
leave
will
it.
do that.
Yeah, they just
Dude,
leave it there.
it's amazing how many are out in the parking lot, and I watch them, and there's times when I'm like, I might run over that guy before I leave.
Have you ever gone to Aldi?
I have once or twice. Yeah, because that's the place. I'm going to make a confession here. I stole some grocery bags from there unknowingly.
Oh man!
Aldi, you gotta pay money for the cart.
I didn't know that I had to pay for those brown sacks.
Yep, you do.
And I just bagged them in there, just one bag, because I got up there and I was like, where's the freaking bags? I had never been in this little hippie joint before, and so I got like some kombucha or something too. I even got some
bet you did,
hippie
too.
stuff.
Yeah.
And but I went to put it in a bag, and I looked around, and there was like some brown bags under there, so I got one of them, and I just put it in there, and man, I got out of there. Well, then the next time I went in there, I saw they had a sign up, and it was like bags. They were like $1 or something.
You know why they put that sign up?
Because people were probably doing that.
That's because you.
Probably. They were like, this guy just stole our bag. Sorry, Audi. But
they all you do is put a quarter in and you get a shopping cart.
oh, you got to pay for a shopping
Yeah,
cart.
you put they have a little thing. It's a quarter,
Okay.
but there are never any buggies out in their parking lot.
That's right.
Because people are too freaking cheap to
Yep.
give up a quarter.
Yep.
They could leave them out there, but I'm going to lose my quarter.
That's right.
And so they push them right back, and they
That's
get the quarter.
hilarious.
My quarterback. Yep.
It's crazy, and
A
people.
quarter.
I know, and people will give you a quarter. They're just super friendly. They know your pain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a quarter, you don't have a buggy. And so
I did not
they'll say,
know that.
Oh no, I got an extra quarter here. Have a quarter.
Wow. I didn't know they
It's
charged
crazy.
you for that.
Yeah, but they give it back.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
It keeps you from being lazy.
It's exactly right. It keeps you from giving your power to the beast.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Okay, so we got the nations, we got the beasts, the military power, and greed and corruption, all this stuff. You got the economy, the kings, the merchants, the
Yep.
rulers. Okay, you got Babylon, which is the chaos engine, right? All the seductress sucks you in, makes promises the world, never is able to deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
And then on top of that, the final layer is the gods. The beast is powered by who? The dragon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The dragon is in league with and one of the rebellious.
Elohim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And so all of this is emanating from and powered by and fueled by and manipulated by these cosmic beings, these extra, whatever you want, unseen beings.
Yeah.
And it's seeping down into the headquarters. It's riding on the kings and rulers and merchants who are on top of the beast, who are on top of, sitting on, like a bad cloud, sitting on the people. And God sends all this judgment. It's all directed toward the Babylon, right? Sure. The people are suffering because of it, and God says, "Please repent. Please, get out from under that beast." And they don't do it.
Yeah,
they won't do it because that's how powerful that seduction is.
That's right.
And this is what we're looking at. So what I want to do is close with this. I'm going to reread Psalm 82.
Okay.
And let's think about Babylon and this whole scenario with the beast in the waters and the wilderness and everything in light of Psalm 82. Listen to this. God takes his stand in his own congregation, in his own assembly, in his own council, right? He judges in the midst of the rulers. The rulers actually is the word Elohim, which means, and actually, okay, so let's read this correctly. God takes his stand. If you want to literally translate it, God takes his stand in the congregation of God, the congregation, the assembly of God. He judges in the midst of the gods, and he says to them, "How long will you judge unjustly and show partiality to the wicked?" Selah. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Show partiality to the wicked. Vindicate the weak and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and destitute. Rescue the weak and needy. Deliver them out of the hand of the wicked. They do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are shaken. I said, I'm shaking things up. I said, you are gods, and all of you are sons of the Most High. Nevertheless, you will die like men and fall like any one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for it is you who possesses all the nations.
Boom.
Yeah. In Deuteronomy 32, you remember after the whole Babel incident, it says that he divided the nations according to the number of the sons of God.
Yep.
And so he just dispersed these gods out to the nations, anticipating that they would judge according to, but then they turned and they began demanding worship for themselves.
That's right.
And so now in this council meeting right here in Psalm 82, he says, it's over for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to do this.
Just like the princes.
Yeah. You're going to die like men.
Yep.
You're not going to be eternal beings. And he says, arise, O God, judge the earth. And I love how he talks about, and this is Asaph, he's a psalm writer, right? And he's talking about all this cosmic stuff. He says, they do not know, nor do they understand. They walk about in darkness. Well, who walks in darkness in Isaiah? It's the people of God, right? Who does John say, if you walk in the light as he is in the light, then, he's always talking about this darkness light thing.
Yeah.
And here it is right here.
Yeah.
And this is the picture that we get in this vision of Babylon. It's the people down below that are being set upon by all of this seductive evil.
Right.
And I can't help thinking about the world that we live in right now.
Yeah.
And you look around and you go, man, these people walking in darkness.
Yep.
They're seduced by all of this stuff that none of it matters.
That's right.
Yep.
We were talking about the kingdom that Jesus came to create, and we're talking about the Sermon on the Plain and how this is not rules and regulations. These are values of a kingdom community.
Yep. This is truth when you stop lying to yourself.
Yes, exactly. And also there is power in this community, power to do things opposite of the beast and opposite of Babylon, loving our enemies, praying for those who mistreat us, all the things that he, turning the other cheek, treating other people like we want to be treated, all this stuff. That's exactly the opposite of what's happening here in this picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
Selah.
Selah. La.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's that is chapter 17. What do you think, Logan?
That was a good one. That might be one of my favorites.
It is crazy. When you really kind of, see how this is dropped right in the middle of, or right before the big showdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I really think that God wanted John to see and wanted to communicate to his readers, his people. This is the most terrible thing you can imagine.
Yeah.
And this is what we're dealing with here. So how do we not put this thing down?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. When we're talking about the battle, do they think they're going to win? I don't think it matters.
Yep.
Not causing evil is not in their DNA.
Yeah.
They have rebelled to the point of
They just don't care.
it doesn't exist. They are always going to fight.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a purification by the Lord.
Yeah, they're never going to say, yeah, okay,
We'll
game
be
over.
good.
You got
We'll
us.
be good.
Yeah.
No. And there was a question that was asked, is, will there be any chance for the rebellious sons of God and the other, demonic beings and things like that? Would there ever be a chance for them to repent?
They never would.
They've gone over the line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about God's image. We're not talking about God's humans.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about, these cosmic beings that he created with these godlike powers.
That's right.
And they're never coming back.
That's right.
It's got to be over. It's got to be dealt with. And that's why I believe that he gives us this whole scenario right here, because this is grotesque. This is disgusting. And here are all of God's created humans underneath, many of whom will not repent.
That's right.
And it's their fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Babylon's fault.
Yep.
And God is beyond angry.
Yep. That is so true. That is so true. Because that is, at the end of the day, that is the battle. It's people being pulled away from God or going toward God.
Yeah.
And no one naturally wants to go away from God.
Yeah.
Well, except for, and that's the idea. God will not remove our perfect free will from us.
That's right.
That's what, we talked about that last week. That's what makes it possible for us to love him in a perfect way.
In human beings being born into Babylon.
Yes.
That's from the day
And
you're
so
born.
the important thing is that they hear the word, that there is a choice. There's an alternative.
Yeah.
That's right.
And even though they hear, many will not pay attention because of this.
That's right.
And so God's going to judge this.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming down.
Selah.
Selah, man. Feels like it should happen any day now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be nice to not have wasps flying around.
I know. One went between us. Did you see it?
No, I missed it altogether.
Yeah, it went over there on the wall. I've been kind of been looking for it. It's going to die after we get off here.
So, once again, we're not striving for perfection here. We're striving to tell the story in as faithful a way and as close to the way as John would have told his readers about his incredible vision as possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're not going to talk about things that John has no idea about. We're going
China.
We're not going to talk about Apache helicopters and heat-seeking missiles and things like that. This is cosmic stuff here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we have to continue to read through this in a cosmic way
That's right.
for it to make any sense at all. And it does make sense when you put all these things together and you put your apocalyptic glasses on. It really does begin to make sense.
It does.
Yeah. So I hope it makes sense to you. I really do.
Yeah, and we want to hear about it. Let us know your thoughts on that. And
if you think it's we're talking about a one world order, or changing currency, or one king here and one king there, if you figured out the mystery of the 5 and the 8 and the 7,
tell us.
Let us know.
I want to hear what you have to say. So do that.
Yep. All right, guys. We will be back next week. Leave us those ratings and reviews. Comment, hit the like button, subscribe. And we'll catch you next week.
Yes, we will.